Hey everybody! So today we're going to talk a little bit more about the Galactic Center. Me and Natalie were looking at some things this past week. First though, I want to make it very clear that with what I'm about to say and talking about this, I am not claiming to be an expert on this. This is just tossing around some ideas, some possibilities, and just some interesting things that we found. Just some things that caught our attention, certainly caught my attention. The notion of whistleblowers. Now, I have seen before, and for the life of me, I can't remember where I saw this or who wrote it. For the life of me, I cannot remember. But a long time ago, I guess maybe not that long, maybe like a year or so, a couple of years, I remember seeing something somebody wrote about the Galactic Center and whistleblowers, and how there seems to be a correlation between people that have Galactic Center contacts, planetary contacts or whatever, or even hypothetical point contacts, and being whistleblowers. Now, obviously, everybody that has something conjunct the Galactic Center is not going to be a whistleblower, right? Obviously, that's not what I'm saying. But there does seem to be a correlation thus far with well-known whistleblowers and having Galactic Center conjunctions or oppositions. Now, why might that be? Well, the Galactic Center is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the truth seeker. This is what it does. This is how Sagittarius operates, or one of the ways that Sagittarius operates, right? It is one of the ways that it functions. And the Galactic Center is thought, it's thought to be a lot of things. An opening to, being the center of the universe is thought to be like a lifeline to, or a telephone line to other dimensions. The source of all creation. I've seen it posed as that, which I think is really cool. All kinds of things, right? So it makes sense to me that people that want to share their truth, or share truth in general, bring things to light, would have contacts to the Galactic Center. Now, in this article that I originally read like a year or two ago, I only remember 3 people being mentioned in this article. One of them was Edward Snowden, one of them was Chelsea Manning, and the other one, I want to say Karen Silkwood was mentioned. Now, I went a little bit further down and took a look to see other well-known whistleblowers or truth tellers, right? Truth tellers. And if they have conjunctions or oppositions to the Galactic Center. And I found some interesting stuff. Let me see. I've got it all written out, or notes anyway. Okay, so I did mention Edward Snowden. He has the Galactic Center conjunct Neptune retrograde. His north node and sun are opposite the Galactic Center. Karen Silkwood, she ended up dying under suspicious circumstances. She was probably offed, really. She had the south node conjunct the Galactic Center. The north node was opposite the Galactic Center. And she was known for reporting unsafe conditions at Kerr-McGee Corporation plutonium fuel plant Let's see. Okay, Frank Serpico, who blew the whistle on NYPD's corruption in the late 60s and early 70s. He has Jupiter retrograde conjunct the Galactic Center. Jeffrey Wigand, who blew the whistle on company protocol about smoking and public health. He was the former vice president of research and development at Brown and Williamson. He has the Sun conjunct the Galactic Center, Venus and Mercury to a lesser degree. Okay, Julian Assange. I'm actually not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right, his last name right, but he has Venus opposite the Galactic Center. No Galactic Center conjunctions, obviously known for WikiLeaks. Erin Brockovich, maybe not thought of as, I think of her as kind of a whistleblower because she got that case against PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric, going when they were contaminating the water. So I think of her as kind of a whistleblower in a way. She has Jupiter retrograde conjunct the Galactic Center. The Sun and Venus oppose the Galactic Center. Mark Whitaker has Mars opposite the Galactic Center. He was a cooperating witness for the FBI who was investigating Archer Daniels Midland for price fixing. He ended up going to prison. Chelsea Manning, who was in prison from 2010 to 2017 after disclosing 750,000 classified and sensitive military and diplomatic documents to WikiLeaks. She has Sun, Uranus, Saturn, and Mercury conjunct the Galactic Center. Now, so these are people that are known for blowing the whistle on something, right? I also want to make mention of here, all of these people, except for one, have Jupiter retrograde, which I think is really interesting. Now, the only one that doesn't have Jupiter retrograde in their natal chart is Chelsea Manning, but she was born during the shadow period. I believe, Jupiter went direct 2 days after she was born. So that still kind of puts her under the influence of the Jupiter retrograde period, in a way. I also want to bring something up about, I believe the Galactic Center is a protective force. I really do. As difficult as it might be, I think it is protective. And I say that. Mind you, this is all the data that I have so far, right? But I do think that it's interesting that with these well-known people that were known for blowing the whistle on something, right? Actually, let me also say this. I think Jupiter retrograde can also be a protective force for these people. Okay. Mark Whitaker, who I just mentioned, he has Mars opposite the Galactic Center. He has nothing conjunct the Galactic Center. And he went to prison. He's out now, but he did go to prison. He didn't walk away unscathed. Chelsea Manning was imprisoned. Now, she has stuff conjunct the Galactic Center, but Jupiter is not retrograde. Not technically. It's under the shadow period, but it's not technically retrograde. I think that's interesting, too. Another one, Julian Assange. He has Venus opposite the Galactic Center, but no Galactic Center conjunction. He's imprisoned right now. I think for these people, okay, and then another one before I get to that, Karen Solkwood. She did have the South Node conjunct the Galactic Center and the North Node opposite the Galactic Center. But you got to keep in mind, the nodes are hypothetical. They're not real bodies in the sky, which I'm going to have to sit a little bit more with that one, but I do think that that's interesting. And while her death is said to have been a car accident, I really don't believe that. I really don't. I think that's bullshit. I mean, she did die in a car, but I don't think it was just her driving off I think somebody offed her. I'll have to sit with hers a little bit longer, because she does have Jupiter retrograde, but the north and south nodes are not planets. They're not asteroids. They are, they're hypothetical, which makes me feel like that would have given her less protection, if you will. I do wonder if she had an actual planet conjunct the Galactic Center, would that maybe not have happened to her? I do feel like as difficult as I think the Galactic Center might be, and I do think that it can be difficult, I almost feel like it's acted as a protective force for these people. Having, planets conjunct the Galactic Center has functioned as a layer of protection for them. Which I think is very interesting. I also think that Jupiter retrograde functions as a level of protection as well. I think it does in these cases. Now, I also realize that not every single whistleblower is going to have Jupiter retrograde. I realize that they're not. But I do think that it's very, very interesting that some of the most well-known ones do. Or were born during that, minus Chelsea Manning, who was born during the shadow period. I do think that it's very interesting, a very, very interesting correlation that I haven't seen talked about. Natalie and I were talking about retrogrades in general with the Galactic Center. And, retrograde planets, there's something very Uranian about them. There is. A majority of them point to Uranus energy in some way. The Galactic Center is as well. The Galactic Center is incredibly Uranian. It just is. So it would make sense that retrograde planets in a natal chart, taking just Jupiter retrograde out of the equation for a second, but retrograde planets, it's almost like they amplify the Galactic Center's energy somehow. We were talking about it being like a forceful tornado or spout, or like the perfect storm kind of thing, of things coming together. It feels very much that way. And I mean, even looking through the responses that we've gotten from the questionnaire, and again, thank you so much for everybody who has done that. Even looking through the responses, it seems like there is maybe not universally, but it does seem like people that have retrograde planets in their natal chart, whether they're conjunct the Galactic Center or not, whether they're Jupiter retrograde or not, there does seem to be, these people seem to understand the Galactic Center better than those that don't, if that makes sense. And I realize a lot of people have some retrograde in their chart, or at least have one planet. It seems like a lot of the ones that have the outer planets retrograde, or I would say everything from Jupiter onward, they seem to have, Jupiter through Pluto, they seem to have a better handle on the energy of the GC. That's not universal, but I have noticed that seems to be the case a lot of the time with this research. So there is definitely some kind of correlation with retrograde planets and the Galactic Center. And retrograde planets conjunct the Galactic Center I feel like would amplify this even more, amplify the Galactic Center's energy, amplify this perfect storm or this spout or this tornado or whatever you want to call it. And I think Jupiter retrograde can really amplify it. And that's regardless of where Jupiter retrograde is in the chart. I think it can really amplify it. But I do think that if the person would say like Jupiter retrograde, if they don't have something actually conjunct the Galactic Center, they might not have the protection necessary. So that's something to think about. I need to think a little bit more about that. So does Natalie. But I do think that retrogrades are very important. I really do think Jupiter retrograde is super important here, though. Yeah. So I'm going to get going. This was kind of long. If you have any thoughts or any ideas or anything on the Galactic Center, let us know. You can leave comments. If you're watching this on Instagram, leave a comment. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment. We'd love to hear your comments or your thoughts. If you want to be a part of the research, hit us up and we'll email you the questionnaire. If you want to follow us on Instagram, you can find us at Let's Fuck with Astrology. I am at Saturn Season Astrology on Instagram. Natalie is at Apaterno Astrology on Instagram. If you want to subscribe to us, whatever, on YouTube, you can find us by searching for Let's Fuck with Astrology. If you do the Reddit thing, come join us on the subreddit Let's Fuck with Astrology. And if you're interested in the star cards, go to letsfuckwithastrology.com/star-cards. Okay, y'all. I'll see y'all later.